I realised the other day that I have not covered the old anti-vax topic in like 5 months. Feel bad about that, because those mother lovers need to be taken to task on the regs, and I genuinely don't know how I ended up blanking on it for nearly half a year, but no more. Considering our current situation, which I am not going to mention because for some reason I'm not allowed to if I want to get them monies, but you know they are going to go nuts when the inevitable vaccine crops up. So, as good a time as any to have another look at the topic.
Hi there, Brittany Cara here.
Hi Brittany. I think I recognise this lady. Oh my god, I've done her before. No, not like that, I mean covered her, for Christ's sake, you dirty. I believe I found her on the Larry Cook 333 channel. Ah, Larry Cook, a man who I have referred to as, in no uncertain terms, an effing C. Anyway, let's effing see what she has to say today.
Thank you so much for checking out our series Vax 101, helping parents and professionals call the shots.
Well, this is going to be interesting. I mean, there you stand in a doctor coat, ready to explain medical stuff. But I don't see a doctor on your old namey boy or in your series of vague titles. I mean, author, speaker, activist. I can write. I can words. I have opinions. Congratulations. That means nothing. But yeah, that coat though makes me assume you aren't a doctor. Now, I'm not saying that you can't talk about medical stuff without a doctorate, but when you show up and you're already trying to give that, hey, I'm totally a doctor impression with the classic lab coat, well, I'm going to assume that you literally have no idea what you're talking about and want to trick people into thinking that you do.
Dr. Henley and I created this course over 3 years ago.
Okay, so you do apparently have a doctor with you, but who is this doctor? I mean, for someone who actually has some sort of qualification, you would think that you might want to have them front and centre. I mean, even if they are a camera-shy spod with absolutely zero charisma, hence having you take the spotlight, I would still expect, say, a single piece of information besides the name anywhere in the video or its accompanying text information. But nope, for some bizarre reason, there's nothing there. Humdy-humdy-hum. If I were a more cynical fellow, instead of the warm, cuddly, huggly, bunnily of a nightmare creature that I am, I would say that this doctor is fake. But since I am the aforementioned huggly, wuggly, bunnily, I won't. No, I actually think you killed them. Where's the body, Brittany?
Because we found that there was a major gap in vaccine education that existed in our society and around the world.
Well, you would think that. You hang out with anti-vaxxers. You're at one of your little meetings and someone puts up their hands and asks, so, does anyone actually have any qualifications? Only to be met with that dead silence. You, the bright spark that you are, instead of seeing the red flag that should be, instead take it upon yourself to really sit down and spread your ignorance way harder. It's almost impressive.
We found that tens of thousands of parents were overwhelmed with this information.
Look, parents aren't supposed to know all the info about anything. Seriously, that's why we have teachers, and not just one teacher for all subjects, but dozens with different specialities. Are you gonna fact check every single thing your kid's teacher ever tells them? I doubt it, although I imagine if you did that, you would go to I'm an ignorant jackass, ask me anything.com, because you can't trust facts from those filthy educated professionals who spent their whole lives learning at one topic. 5 minutes Google, better than sign, lifetime. Hashtag fact.
And that medical professionals weren't really learning all of this information, even going through medical school.
What information? Like the actual facts about vaccines and their effects? Because, yes, they are. Or perhaps you mean the more nitty-gritty stuff that only really the researchers need to know. Well, so what? Not all medical doctors are the absolute pinnacle top-tier experts in everything to do with science. No, but they do tend to be well-versed in the basics, and by basics, I mean probably a lot more than you will ever know. Or do you mean that doctors don't know the absolute nonsensical gibber speak you think is medical knowledge? When, well, good. I want my doctors to know doctor stuff.
So what we have created here is a 6-week course.
6 weeks? That seems like an awfully long time to say, "Who do vaccine burn?" And for anything really. I mean, my problem is that I've got the attention span of, "Oh, look, whiskey! Yeah!"
It's going to help you dive in to the deep understanding of everything related to vaccination, vaccine policy, and vaccine injury.
Translation: we are going to make you somehow know less about anything than you ever have before, and you're going to pay to do it. Even if your course was free, it would still require some waste of time and or resource that would just make a huge detriment to anyone stupid enough to sign up for it. So, where do I join?
In lesson number 1, we are going to dive into the vaccine ingredients and how they affect the body.
See, what they do is, they help you build an immunity to the thing it's designed to help you build an immunity to. Complex stuff. No wonder you need a week per topic. After this course, you should start a new one on food. It makes you not the hungry. It'll probably need a month for that one. I'm going to start my own called Whiskey. It makes you handsome, famous and good at the sex. But that'll just need a day, since everybody already knows it.
Physically and neurologically.
Is it just me that finds it funny that the one word she messes up, so far at least, is literally the one about doing a braining? Neuromologica. See, I nailed it on my first go.
In lesson number 2, we are going to break down the Vaccine Event Reporting System, which is our federal database for tracking vaccine injuries and deaths.
Is it not called the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System? Jesus, woman, can't even get the names of the things that you think will support you right. And on that topic, everything in there is something that happened after a vaccine was administered, yes, but, well, let me put it this way. You know the possible side effects listed in all medicines? Yeah, those are anything that happens after someone has taken that drug, but it doesn't mean that the drug caused it. They just have to put it there just in case, in some humans, the drug just so happens to cause that effect, but there's every chance it literally doesn't. It's all about the numbers, really. The side effects we take seriously are the common ones, and the thing about vaccines is the common side effects are well known, very well, and are generally pretty mild. And I can't say that whatever you say are caused by vaccines aren't, but on the flip side, you shouldn't be saying that you know they are, because you don't. And they probably aren't.
In lesson 3, we're going to go through the vaccine law, the 1986 Childhood Vaccine Injury Protection Act, in which pharma lost liability and is a completely liability-free industry today.
Oh, come on, that's not exactly the whole story, is it? I mean, of course you're not going to give the full story in a 3-minute video where you're trying to get people to attend your course, but I highly doubt you are going to give anything close to the proper explanation, so I'm going to do it here. And it won't take me a week either. Vaccine manufacturers aren't held liable for compensation. They are held liable to make safe, effective vaccines, but the compensation issue is thus. As we have said before, the whole "it happened after they were vaccinated, therefore vaccine caused it" is a problem. I mean, post hoc ergo propter hoc. After this, therefore because of this is a fallacy for a reason. But more importantly, vaccines are so goddamn effective at their job, it's really in everybody's best interest that everybody who can be vaccinated is. But when compensatory liability was still on the shoulders of the companies making the vaccines, it became untenable for them to continue producing them. I don't know if you can guess, but if vaccines stop getting made, that's kind of a bad thing. At least if you aren't an anti-vaxxer or you like doing an alive. So the system that's in place now that pays out for quote-unquote vaccine injuries is not an admission of vaccines bad. It's actually a protection to keep vaccines being made. And fun fact, the compensation thing for the vaccine injuries has the burden of proof on that court to prove that your child wasn't vaccine injured. And if you know anything about burden of proof for negatives, well, that's a doozy. And I would not want to be in their shoesies.
In lesson 4, 5, and 6, we are going to look at the disease history and if vaccines were really the only reason that diseases declined.
Wait, who said that vaccines are the only reason the disease has declined? That's moronic. Of course vaccines aren't the only reason. But you know what? They are a big reason, and if you look at any chart of disease spread, it does go down as we approach the modern day. But every single time a vaccine is introduced for a particular illness, the cases tend to flatline. But no, actually, washing your hands is what ended polio. Yeah.
And we're also going to look into addressing and understanding vaccine injury, which is becoming, unfortunately, an epidemic in our culture and around the world.
Depends on what you mean by vaccine injury, doesn't it? The insane thing about this vaccine injury stuff is I want to know what mechanism do the vaccines have that cause whatever, when it basically just uses dead or weakened versions of diseases to kick off immunity. And the only way, in my opinion, you could justify that there is stuff that does injuries in them is that they are putting something TM in the vaccines to control, kill, or whatever. And I got to touch on the old autism thing, because that's where this all started, didn't it? And point out that the only reason we have more cases now is because we know what the hell we're looking for. And it's super irritating, you lot holding the advancements of our ability to diagnose as a sign of evil being afoot. But think about it like this. Your weird uncle who collects leaves and smells faintly of TCP. Back in the day, everyone just thought he was off or whatever. But it's more than likely he is just a bit autistic. And that's okay. But I don't want to look at your leaves, Graham. I know you like them, but it's really freaking boring. Thanks, mate.
We're going to look at holistic nutrition and how you can actually reset a child's body after being exposed to vaccinations or if they've been vaccine injured.
See, this bullpat right here. You are so scared and happily fear-mongering of vaccines, and yet so goddamn ignorant you genuinely believe you can use some tea leaves spat into someone's ear or some other hocus pocus to full-on cure them. Like, if vaccines are that ineffective, why do you care? You know what? I have a great idea. Why don't you just get all your kids their vaccines and then immediately put a bit of essential oil on their pillow and whatever else you want to do and draw out all of those evil boys. That way, you think you've beaten the system and we all know that your kid is actually vaccinated and not going to suddenly explode at age 4. Everybody wins. Especially your unexploded kid.
And most importantly, we end this course on a very positive note, knowing that education can truly serve as a tool for empowerment and change.
I would completely and utterly agree with you if I thought for 1 second that a single thing you do on this course even counted as education. Guys, don't forget to panic buy sick brand merch. What if you need to let people know that you are handsome, famous and good at the sex in a variety of tasteful colours? Buy as many as you can afford now before this thing that's printed to order runs out. Also, you can use it as toilet paper if needs be. You never know when you're going to need to wipe your arse.